What happened to NFL Quarterback Club? The now retro NFL series published by Acclaim lasted for nearly a decade, and at one point held an exclusive NFL license, giving it a temporary edge over Madden on the Nintendo 64. The games were focused on the quarterback, with an emphasis on a mode called Quarterback Challenge, where you'd complete quarterback-specific drills in a minigame format, in lots of NFL history and lore, with most of the titles having 50 classic situations or throwback Super Bowls to recreate and re-experience. These were games made with a lot of passion for the sport, but they never sold well enough to truly be competitive, and after a few missteps, the series died out a few years before EA took over the exclusive NFL rights for good. The series was a victim of competition, but that's a good thing. NFL Game Day, NFL Fever, NFL 2K, and yes, Madden were all able to outlast Quarterback Club, at least briefly. But I miss this series. It had a charm to it, a vibe, and it was the only title to really focus in on the quarterback position. Let's look at each title and dive deeper and find out what happened to NFL Quarterback Club. Before we dive in, let's talk about Game Time, the sponsor of today's video. Game Time is the premier marketplace for last-minute tickets for the most popular events in not only sports, but music and theater too. I personally use it all the time, and one of my favorite parts of using the Game Time app is that it shows you the view from your seat before you buy the ticket. Game Time Picks, a new feature, filters out the fluff to show you only the best deals on great seats. The curation of Game Time Picks makes it easier to save more on sports, comedy, theater, and more. There's an upcoming Billie Eilish concert near me, and if we sort by Game Time Picks, we get all kinds of crazy deals. The Super Deal is the best deal considering how good the seats are for the price. Same goes for this Hawks-Celtics game. Game Time also has the lowest price guarantee, so if you find tickets in the same section cheaper elsewhere, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Why would you use any other ticket app? Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SOFTDRINK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SOFTDRINK for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Now back to the video. The first NFL Quarterback Club title was actually a Game Boy game that released in 1993, a year before the main Sega Genesis version. The game is called Quarterback Challenge on the title screen. This will end up being the most iconic game mode in the series, where you perform different quarterback-specific drills. You had 13 different quarterbacks to choose from in this game, but there was no 11-on-11 football. It was just a little mini-game to kill time, just quarterbacks ripping it and running around obstacles. Still a vibe. A year later, the game released with the same name for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. The Quarterback Challenge mode is basically the same as the Game Boy version, with enhanced graphics. Controls make no sense to me today trying to play this, but back then, games came with an instruction manual describing the controls. I miss manuals. This game also had exhibition with real NFL teams, so you could play 11-on-11 football, and even a simulation mode where you could replay moments from NFL history, something even Madden 25 doesn't have. In Madden 25, classic players are hidden behind a paywall in Ultimate Team. That's modern gaming for you. But back then, this would become a staple of the series. Next came NFL Quarterback Club 2 for the Game Boy again. Unlike the last Quarterback Club for the Game Boy, Quarterback Club 2 doesn't have the Quarterback Challenge mode, making it one of the only games in the series to not include it. All you can do is play an NFL game, which you couldn't do in the original Game Boy game. It has a coin toss, unlike Madden 25, and this is the game. It's like a Tecmo Bowl clone for the Game Boy. Check this out, one play touchdown. This has the easiest to understand controls of all the titles so far. I'd actually recommend this if you're bored. It's pretty fun, actually. NFL Quarterback Club 96 jumped to the next generation. Moving to the Sega Saturn saw a huge leap in graphical fidelity. The Sega Saturn was Sega's competition for the original PlayStation, and this was the first NFL Quarterback Club title on 3D-capable hardware. This would foreshadow the focus on graphics that this series would have. A new season mode and playoff mode was also added. The Genesis version of 96 was similar to the last Genesis game, but it had way more situations. Look at all these classic NFL moments to go relive. This is what an NFL video game should be all about, letting you re-experience the rich history of the sport. Somehow, these studios understood that in 1995, but in 2024, the only studio left standing doesn't seem to care at all. The following year, NFL Quarterback Club was developed for the PlayStation 1. Graphics took an even larger jump on the PlayStation. This was the best version of NFL Quarterback Club up to that point. The series was on the rise. There was even an instant replay feature. Some other cool additions include the ability to pick any starting year, even 2024, in what was a staple of the series, of course, that simulation mode where you could replay classic NFL moments. NFL Quarterback Club 98 was when the series peaked. This is when things get interesting. The series was at this point more graphically advanced than Madden and rivaled NFL Game Day, but Madden of course blew it away in sales. So Acclaim went and got the exclusive NFL license for the Nintendo 64, a brand new console at the time, making NFL Quarterback Club 98 the first, and at the time only, licensed NFL game for the console. Madden 64 released that year without an NFL license, which was a big fat L for EA. EA vowed to never let this happen again, and they got the NFL license back the following year for the Nintendo 64 version of Madden. This was the start of NFL Quarterback Club's fall. It could not compete with Madden without resorting to tricks, and it failed to truly capture the moment. And they indirectly pushed their competition to innovate and potentially planted a dangerous seed in the mind of EA. All that said, NFL Quarterback Club 98 was a good game with a lot of cool features, including 4 hidden teams, including one that has the developers of the game, Marv Albert commentary, despite him being in a scandal at the time, Brett Favre on the cover and in the advertisements, and of course, the 50 historic simulations the series was becoming known for, along with the quarterback challenge. There was even a quarterback profile feature, which was an in-game encyclopedia filled with college and pro stats for all 30 starting quarterbacks at the time. In the early days of the internet, that information was much more difficult to access, making it an added selling point. Graphically, it was the most advanced NFL game ever at the time, but gameplay was hit or miss. Ball physics and animation quality weren't great. NFL Quarterback Club 99 for the Nintendo 64 took a step forward with gameplay, and Acclaim added the ability to replay past Super Bowls. History was a huge part of the series, as I've mentioned throughout this video. I just love that, that's why I keep mentioning it. While this game was technically an improvement from the last and received really good reviews, it sold poorly compared to the now fully licensed Madden 99. If only this was the game they released the year before when they had the market all to themselves, maybe the series' fortunes would have changed. NFL Quarterback Club 2000 released on the Sega Dreamcast, the first 6th generation console. Unfortunately for Acclaim, Sega made NFL 2K for the system too, which was a much better game in every way. In my opinion, NFL 2K, the first one, was easily the greatest sports game ever made at that point in time. I have a retrospective on that game if you're curious, but Quarterback Club not only couldn't compete with NFL 2K, but the Dreamcast wasn't even selling well. NFL QB Club 2001 released for the Dreamcast again and the Nintendo 64, and was another disappointment. Most of the features from past titles were there, but nothing new was added, and gameplay barely changed. The Nintendo 64 version felt outdated, and the Dreamcast version just didn't stack up to NFL 2K. Finally, in 2001, the series jumped to the PS2 and GameCube with NFL QB Club 2002, but it was far too late to matter. This would end up being the final game in the series, and the end of NFL Quarterback Club. The Quarterback Challenge mode returned after a brief disappearance with much fancier presentation, and graphics took one last step forward, with moving jaw physics, blinking eyes, and removable helmets. Presentation was pretty decent, with none other than Kevin Harlan delivering play-by-play. It was a solid game, but not on the level of NFL 2K2 or Madden 2002. It's probably aged the best out of all of them due to graphics, but it really wasn't the best, nor was it good enough to keep the series alive. And then it was over. NFL Quarterback Club was no more. NFL Quarterback Club was never a bad series, and at times the games were quite good, even great, but it couldn't sell as well as its competitors, and it ended up becoming a victim of competition, which is a good thing. Today, with EA holding the exclusive NFL rights, Madden is in a position only Acclaim could relate to, back in 1997. The difference is, EA has held this exclusive simulation NFL license for 20 years now, instead of just one. While most people were probably just fine with Quarterback Club discontinuing after 2002, I think we all took these games for granted considering the state of the market today. I would welcome the return of NFL Quarterback Club, because at the end of the day, it was a solid option. And I like having options, don't you? The Quarterback Challenge mode was also a ton of fun and pretty unique. Let me know in the comments if there is a specific NFL Quarterback Club title you'd want to see me do a thorough retrospective on, as I had to keep this video brief due to the quantity of titles covered. Thanks for watching.